Rahul and I play guitars for Sky Rabbit. I started learning guitar when I was maybe 10, 11. And I took classes for a couple of years and then I kind of stopped for a bit until I got done with school. I think I really got into music by then when I was maybe in the 10th. And so then I picked it up again and from then on I just learned by myself.
Hi, I'm Harsh and I play drums.
When the bomb drops, you're looking like a dog.
Hi, I'm Siddharth. I've been in the band right from when it began in 2003, 2004. The bass was, I guess, a natural choice for me. According to me, music is harmony as in cohesiveness, not the musical term. And I felt the bass is, I guess, the most primeval sound since the beginning of time, you know. It's the bass or this hollow sound that's in space as well. You hear that, the throbbing sound of the low end. So I guess that was the inspiration, I guess.
Hi, I'm Rakshit. I sing and play guitars for Sky Rabbit. I think the most relevant process started after 10th standard. I learned a couple of instruments when I was really young as a child and stuff, but I basically picked up the guitar after I graduated from school, and well, eventually I started writing songs and doing a whole bunch of things which I now do for Sky Rabbit and like otherwise.
So we started in 2003, late 2003, and had a whole bunch of lineup changes since then. And the first place we jammed at was Borivali with Aldrich and Rohit.
How do you forget his name so many times?
It's been a long time, been a really long time. And yeah, so then Rahul came in right before the first gig and we auditioned him. The journey began.
Basically, the idea of starting the band sort of germinated somewhere around, somewhere in junior college, somewhere around 12th standard or something, where we started writing some songs, or at least there was like an inclination to do some of those things. And also the whole scene at Raz was a big influence because when we saw all those things happening and we saw how bands operated and things like that. So that's where it took place, and then over a period of a year, I think Rahul and Siddharth and me were already together. So from then on, it's just been pretty much a constant journey with us, just writing songs, and then later on Harsh joined us, and so yeah, we've pretty much been doing that for a while now.
When we first chose the name Medusa, I think it was a very random sort of thing. We were about to get on the stage for our first gig and we hadn't yet settled on a name. So Siddharth thought of Medusa and that's what we put in as our name, and I think it just stuck from there. And I think it worked for the kind of music that we were making back then, which was heavier, like industrial metal sort of music. And whatever, as the years passed, our sound changed and the name still stuck, but it just didn't match what we were doing. And so we wanted to change it to something that we related to and sort of fit the music that we were making. So again, we went back and forth with 3-4 names, and then we reached Sky Rabbit, which out of all the names, all 4 of us agreed upon. And I think the reason is that it is a sort of vague, sparse sort of name, and it allows us to do a whole lot with our music while still being in step with what we're doing. So yeah, that's why.
Making music comes naturally to us, so we don't really give it a conscious thought.
I think the kind of music we play is really fluid. It
changes with each song.
Exactly, and it draws elements from a lot of things happening around, like in the world of music as well as otherwise, just around us.
revolution you're about.
The process of writing Sky Rabbit's album basically started with me and Rahul jamming up and like writing a whole bunch of songs, and like as in most of them were done over electronic loops and things like that. So we'd either start with a guitar part, make a loop for it and start jamming, or there'd be like a loop, you know, flowing around anywhere. So whenever we did, you'd sort of keep listening to it at various times, and then somehow like a song would just come out of somewhere. And you know, and we had basically the liberty at that point to just record all these ideas down, put them down and build on it. So that's how a lot of these songs were done. They were put down and then built upon and things like that. And Antico Ganpati is a real fun song which is poking at a whole bunch of things, right from the way we are to where we're going and things like that. It's just, I don't know, I guess is a take on what's happening. It started out with just the phrase Antico Ganpati, which was Siddharth's idea, and he basically, like, we for a little period thought that we would write a concept album around the whole concept of Antico Ganpati, which did not materialize, but that song stuck.
Well, the breakdown, fashion, sense, sex, love, fat is stumbling from pizza toppings. It's me for president and my Antico Ganpati. It's me for president, we'll fight this rank A blasphemy.
Oilo is basically written jamming on a guitar. To be honest, it's a very simple song that was, I guess, written over like 2 days jamming with the guitar. So, well, Oil is pretty much like a conversation you'd have with a friend or something, and it's sort of a condensation of all those things that happened at that moment.
What is it that you cannot believe? What is it that tells me you're a babe?
Sweet Smile Diving, now that really came out this one imagery, as in at least how where the song sort of started to find its feet were at this point where this imagery struck me of just having a pair of lips, you know, on a diving board like 20 meters above the swimming pool, and just sort of taking off from there. And the song pretty much for me finishes at a point where those lips hit the water.
Dirty, get your pants off. It's time to clean it.
March was basically just an evening, really, and I came here to jam with Rahul, and he had made this loop which was going on, and I just literally had this line running in that spur of the moment, which had to be put down, right? So I literally just grabbed a mic and there's the song.
Yes, it's a joke. Your time is a joke. This is how we've got this far, and it's all a joke. Yes, it's a joke. Setting sun will rise, rising sun will set. Round and round we'll go, and I may become
Soundpad really happened quite randomly. A friend of ours called us a couple of days before this was supposed to happen. Actually, not even a couple of days, just a night before it was supposed to happen, and said, hey, listen, there's a producer who's coming down, and would you like to go and just play for him? And we had absolutely no idea who was coming down and what was this regarding and all of that. Within all that confusion, we agreed, and somehow all three of us did make it to the audition place at like around 12 o'clock, and we saw pretty much every independent musician from Bombay who was making music at that point right there. So we were quite pleasantly surprised. And there was a guy sitting, which we then later on found out was John Leckie, and he's produced for Stone Roses and Radiohead and Kula Shaker and a whole bunch of bands. He's basically a really iconic guy from the alternative British scene. So yeah, we ended up playing a couple of our songs for him, which he liked a lot, and that somehow culminated into us recording a few songs with him at Yashraj Studios over a period of 3 days, which also spiraled into a tour, a full-fledged, I think, 5 or 6 city tour across UK, where we played to a whole bunch of very new people we had never played to before. I think a lot of very interesting and very sort of horizon-broadening things came out of that entire experience, including the tour. What it did to us was it further propelled us to do whatever we were doing, to really not feel like a certain, like doing things a certain way is the only way to go about things, you know. It sort of opened up all those fears for us. Just go ahead and continue doing whatever we were doing.
For this EP, it's different from the CD because it's really just down to the 4 of us sitting down and writing these songs, like in a jam room. With the CD, it was broken. Sort of the way we were writing music was, I guess, it started up pretty much anywhere from a loop or from like just a scratch that we were thinking of, or just the jam between me and Rakshit. But with this new CD has come out of a whole lot of jamming as a band, which we hadn't done for quite a while because members kept changing and people kept leaving and stuff like that. So I think the CD will have a nice, different sort of energy, different from the one that we had released in Jan this year.
It's more fun, I guess, this time around. It's 4 of us together. Cohesive kind of cohesive songs.
It's a lot more straight up, and it's a lot more exactly like it's music made out of a jam room, so it's got that completely different energy about it. Yeah, it's a lot more impulsive, hopefully a lot more fun.
The independent scene is definitely growing in India from 5 years, 6 years ago. There are more people doing original music. It's not a hobby anymore, or a pastime. People have gotten serious about, and the online explosion has definitely helped. ArtistAloud, I guess, is a step in the right direction in terms of getting music out there to people and still not exercising any creative control over music. So it's almost like Raz online. It's building a scene, nurturing it. It's a step in the right direction.